Hello, loves. How are you? Okay, I'm up having another late night, doing a late night reading because they are my new thing. And and you know, I was thinking, I always say this, and I'm so excited to tell you. I always kind of say the same things with all of these. It's just like, it's this repeating track with me every time I get on here. So let's try to make this one different. Oh my gosh, so I'm so excited to tell you. Okay, so first off, I want to tell you this is something that was told to me about several months ago. And it was out when I was hiking, which I always kind of tell you that's my time when I'm most open to receiving information is when I'm out hiking, you know. So if I'm staying in the house too much and doing too many readings and just staying in here, like I have to get out there, and then I'm so inspired with what is being told to me. And I usually spend all my hikes talking out loud too, because it comes out of me like words. So like the whole time it looks like I'm there with somebody. But anyway, so I was told several months ago, and I only told my class, but now I'm ready to tell you guys, but that, you know, so what everybody needs to understand right now is I already told you that this is like the third year of this massive boot camp. But this year is the most important one. And this is the one where I told you it's going to be similar to how now we're finally in this boot camp session where we're in for it. You know, we're down for it. We're like, bring it. I'm ready. I'm ready to face my stuff. I'm ready to get clear. I'm ready to look at myself. So the past couple years we just had a lot of things being thrown our way, but we weren't really down with it, and we weren't really as eager to deal with what we had to deal with, but it just kept tumbling at us. You know, it's kind of just falling in on us is a good way to put it. So this year we were going to be totally down for it, to the point where we start to really kind of eagerly go into situations of provocation or whatever that we have with others or in life. So we're really kind of saying, okay, I want to know why I'm manifesting this. I want to know why this has happened in my life. I want to know why I'm having these similar obstacles in my life. So this year we're all like, bring it. You know, and this is the most important boot camp year because of what we're leading up into in 2016. So what I was told about this year is that we are in an 8-year. And what that means is if you turn the 8 on its side and turn it into an infinity sign, that is how we are operating for this entire year. Every single day of this entire year, we are operating in the flow of the infinity. And what that means is what you are throwing out there is instantly swinging back and coming back your way. So if you can like imagine that what you're throwing out there is instantly swinging back and coming right at you. So everything that we're doing, every single thing that we're doing is building momentum. Like when it's going out there, it goes around that turn, which makes it swing back and even more powerful right at us, right in our face. So this is what I've been telling everybody. This is the year of instant manifestation, because we're on that infinity sign flow where every single thing is coming right back to us. We cannot hide from the truth of who we are, the truth of how we speak to people, the truth of what we're thinking in our head, the truth of what we are thinking and saying inside our head about others. So it's all coming back at us, all coming back at us, all coming back at us. And what happens when you are not facing your own stuff and projecting it onto others, or, you know, judging others, or, you know, putting other people down, or saying hateful things about them because you're envious of them or whatever. There's a whole array of things that we fall into, these traps of this behavior that we've taken on, this very, very low vibrating and very, very old world way. But it's a habit, and it's what we grew up seeing in our parents, and it's what they grew up seeing in their parents. So we've just continued with this stuff, and our egos are so intact. Our egos are so like, no, I'm right. No, I know best. No, I'm the correct one, and you're the one who's messed up. You're the one who's da-da-da. You're the one. That's just like ego, ego, ego. But you can't fault anybody because we've all walked this path. You know, every single one of us is walking this path every single day because we are in such a switch of a cusp of a different time life, world, living experience. So because we're switching into this new way of living, communicating, talking, loving, we're all still ingrained with those old world ways, and we despise them in others. But when we do despise them in others, that's always a sign that we have little pieces of that still in ourselves. Because when we're just like whatever about it, it's more showing that we've kind of dealt with it in our own way ourselves. But so what's happening when you are speaking negatively, hurting others, anything that is basically, you can break everything down to, is it empowerment or is it disempowerment? So what you said to that person, was it empowering or was it disempowering? What you thought about that person in your head, was it empowering or was it disempowering? What you thought of that stranger on the street who's sitting there needing to ask for money, were your thoughts empowering or were they disempowering? That person that you just got irritated with in the car next to you, who pulled in front of you or whatever, was your thought empowering or disempowering? Did you just let it go, or did you stew over it and make them into idiots and how much you hate people and whatever? So everything is trying to move into the empowering way, or just the non-affected way, just like whatever, just not being so affected by things. But when you are, because this is instant manifesting, one, you're going to see how people truly vibrate now. Like now we're kind of in X-ray land, and I've talked about this for a couple years, where what you're really just going to be able to see who people are by what is happening in their life, by what kind of people they have in their life, by what they're doing in their work, by what relationships they have in their life, what luck they have in their life, what's coming into their life. Because if they're in that infinity 8 and throwing out love and throwing out integrity and throwing about impeccability with their words and how they're affecting other people, then those people are going to have a swing back that is positive and beautiful and wonderful. So you might be sitting there judging someone and saying, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this. But if they're living a life that is really pretty magical and beautiful, they don't have inside of them what you're seeing in them. And probably what you're seeing in them is what you're really, is a truth about yourself that just needs to be made peace with and manifested into a higher expression, letting go of those old patterns of whatever, being a baby, needing your way, needing to be right, being envious of other people's success. I mean, there's a million of those, so you get my point. I'm not picking on any single one that's hitting you right now. We all have several of these just low and ugly kind of ways that we can be with people and with how we see the world. So everything is just swinging right back to us at record speed, and this is how you can really see where people are at, and like for real, because that's what I'm always saying. We were raised that if we keep it inside, it doesn't matter. We can have these thoughts in our head and it doesn't matter. And now we're just really seeing that it does matter. We have, and this is what is birthing that boot camp where we're down with it, because we have to now, because this is going to be a year of such huge polarities where some people are so miserable and bottom of the barrel and oh my gosh, like they can't even stand life anymore. And then there's this other group that's going to be so prosperous and so happy and so thinking the world is such a magical shifted place. So one of the things I want you to know about like this energy right now is really powerful. And I'm always saying this. I'm always like, I have like 10 words I use. I use them over and over and over again. But this one's really powerful, And this one is very much related to a couple different aspects. But one of it is that our wounds are in our faces right now. And every single one of us is magnetizing situations that deal, one, with our karma, and then the other with wounds that we've just not healed, and we're going to have them repeated in our life. So they're really hot and heavy, and they will tend to come in shocking ways out of the blue. They're going to tend to come in interactions with others, and what they're going to be is that they're going to be a whole hotbed of healing when we can really be humble and not fight, and really kind of see our place in this, while also separating yourself from any kind of projection, because that's always what happens when we have wounds. We say we hate in others what we really are doing, or we can't stand what others are doing when we are too. So that's the projection game when we're fighting. So just expect and just kind of know that this kind of stuff is going to come up, and like I said, it's gonna be where it turns things upside down or around out of the blue. So something's going to be going along, da da da, and then it's like, and then it gets like flipped upside down, and what that is doing though is revealing wounds. So what that is doing is revealing something that just needs to be let go of. And we're all going to have our own personal situations of what this means. So we're all going to have our own things of like, some kind of frustration, some kind of anger, some kind of situation that's really going to then have us thinking about how we reacted, how we responded, how we thought of the situation. And then when we do go through that and face what needs to be faced, and see what part of it we needed to see from something that relates to maybe a childhood wound, something that we're holding on to, something that's actually keeping us from being in an empowered space. So that's what we're seeing right now. And one other thing I wanted to say about with the figure 8 and with what we're throwing out there. One of the things when you are thinking negatively, saying mean things, thinking you're a loser, thinking, really looking out with these eyes that are interpreting your life as negative or wrong or a mistake or horrible or a nightmare or something that you'll never get out of, or even like having a short-sighted vision where you're so immersed in the pain and the difficulty of this moment right now and not seeing over it, and not seeing that can be a better day, and not seeing that things will right themselves eventually. If you're too stuck in those kind of situations, what you're doing is, what I like to say is, you're like throwing razor blades into your immediate future. And then what happens is then you have to walk through those razor blades really quickly now because of that infinity sign. So you instantly then are walking through razor blades, and then you again are frustrated and angry and pissed off that you're having to walk through razor blades. So you throw that out again, and then you're walking through razor blades again. And then you're pissed off and frustrated, and you throw that out again, and you're walking through razor blades. So for some people, it will not end. And you're going to be bloody and battered and miserable and want to die. Like, I guarantee that. Like, this power is so powerful like that. This power is so powerful like that. Like, for real. And so just do know that when you're switching a pattern, you're still going to have those razor blades to step on because you just created them. But the next thing that what needs to happen is, maybe you're going to walk through some more nasty manifestations because of what you put out there, because of what you said, because of how you treated people, because how you treated yourself. You're going to walk through these razor blades, but you need to then walk through them, but with a positive perspective. So you need to then walk through them and just know, okay, I created this, I manifested this, I brought this into manifestation because of what I did back then, and now I'm going to walk through it, I'm going to deal with it, I'm going to do what I have to do, and then I'm going to think of a better day, and I'm going to commit to being a better person, and I'm going to do what I can to right my ship, to put better energy out into this figure 8 so that then I'm getting these amazing blessings coming swinging back at me, So, you might still be walking through murky and nasty, but it's because you already manifested that. You already brought that into your future. But now, instead of now walking through it and acting like a nasty bitch even more so, and then continuing to manifest this, you have to stop that cycle right now and put the love into everything. Put the love into what you imagine can come into your life. Put the love into how you speak to others. Put the love into how you see the world. Talking about doomsday and how horrible everybody is and I hate humanity is just creating a scene of razor blades that you're about to have to walk through. So stopping the cycle is really important. And it really just takes your perception. It really just takes you letting go of the judgment, letting go of the, and what's really funny is one thing I've noticed with the energies right now is they're very Leo and they're very Virgo. And it's very much like critical, superior, feeling righteous, what's that, hierarchical, is that how you say it? Something like better than, entitlement. So I've been noticing in this for like a month that there's a really strong Virgo and Leo energy, but out of balanced Leo and Virgo. So those are almost like the strongest ones right now. So if you think about those signs in their most negative form, that's what's really, it's so funny. I keep seeing things flick. I keep seeing things move. I keep thinking things like the water thing. Things. Oh, anyway. So that's those energies in their negative. Think about that. Are what really ruling the planet right now. Arrogance, and it's so annoying. Arrogance and judgmentalness. Let's put it that way. Those kind of things are really ruling. But also this inability to see self, this inability to see one's perspective in creating a situation like this, so that is manifesting in your life. And another part of this too, though, is because this is karma and wounds, a lot of us are paying back things that maybe happened even like a decade ago. A lot of us can be paying back things that we were doing before instant manifestation was a part of our lives, which was like early 2000s, mid 2000s is when it really started to show up in our lives. And so this can be stuff that you were paying back from 10, 20 years ago. And what you're going to notice is what is coming in your life is things that you used to do. And maybe you don't anymore. Maybe you feel like you don't anymore and you have more control over these kind of things, but you will be triggered. And in being triggered by this, you are being shown what you used to do. And through that, you're going to even more kind of like make peace with how you were. You might even have something where you want to reach out to people who you didn't treat good from 15 years ago. I don't know, like a relationship. I don't know if you're just going to be like, oh, I really need to let that person know how bad I feel about the things I said to him. And I don't know, something like that might be coming over you where you want to make peace with something. And it may be that what's triggering you now relates to an old pattern that you had, and that there is something with like making peace with that and really like clearing that out of your space for good, because we're all evolving. Like I say, we're always in that line, and we're always having all these lessons that teach us and help us learn about the unconscious behaviors that we have had in life. Because we've all had a lot of them. We started as unconscious beings and we evolve into becoming conscious. And like I said, when you're in line, what happens at most of those positions is you're criticizing people behind you. So you're judging, and we're just never supposed to judge like that. We're always supposed to have a really strong ingrained compassion for wherever anybody is coming. And sometimes they are so annoying. Sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person. But ultimately, for you to really prove, because these are testings right now, but for you to really prove that you've passed the test and for you to really be able to move to the next level, there's going to be forgiveness involved and letting something go, not letting it linger for a long time. Just like even if you do get heated and upset and depressed or whatever over something, really kind of moving through it with 24, 48 hours, being done with it, not even letting it affect you anymore. Because if you remember, the old world way really holds on to things. The old world way stews and sits in things and doesn't let them go and wants to get even or wants to put people in their place. That's a really big thing of so do understand that we're all having these right now, and whether you are still doing these and talking this way, treating people a certain way, whether you're having situations like that, it may not relate to how you've been, but you're being tested right now to really see if it is out of your system, because it very well may be that something karmically is now swinging back to you. Because with karma, it chooses its own perfect times for when you can really learn the lesson from it. Maybe you haven't done something in 20 years, and then all of a sudden it's back in your face and it's all over the place. And you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been this way. How come I'm manifesting all these people who are doing this thing that I used to do? you. And what it is just karma coming in at just the right time to now test you. And if you're being tested, that's a very good sign, because it means you're going on to another higher level. So don't ever judge the testings. You know, you can't get to these higher levels in school unless you're tested. It's part of life. We're always being tested, but this one right here is a really big one that's judging what vibration we're kind of moving up to. And I wanted to also explain this with so I don't know if I told you, but I've been feeling how we're all in this position right now that is how I described, you know, like when you're about to pass 3 cars on a road. You know, it's a big risky deal. It's not something you would normally do. You may often just play it safe, stay at the end of it, be annoyed by it because you need to get somewhere, but not so much taking a risk to passing 3 cars. You know, you're like, 1, okay, 2, I don't know, 3, okay, I'm just going to sit here and add to this line. So I have been having this feeling that we were all about to do some kind of really big risk-taking thing where we were going to like pass 3 cars on the road, and where we would know that there was no sense in having fear in it, you know, no sense in being like, no, I don't think I can really do that, and instead being like, I'm doing it, you know, instead just like going for it and not thinking about our old fears and, you know, worries, and just doing it and knowing we're going to sail through it. So I've been feeling this, and I've mentioned it a couple of times because I'm like, gosh, can you feel that? Like how we're about to just make a huge leap and take a huge go into a huge lead, you know, like see ya, you know, like passing 3 cars, see ya, and then like sailing down the road in some aspect in our life, with our career, taking a risk in a love relationship, taking a risk with moving to a new place, taking a risk with leaving a job and taking on a new one, some kind of just big risk that really puts us ahead of the pack because of our passion for believing in ourselves and not being in the fear mentality. Because the fear mentality is so big out there right now. I can't even hardly believe how many fearful things keep coming at me from others. And it's so like, it's these most foreign words. I mean, I'm pretty blessed that I've kind of like, I grew up in a progressive childhood, 100% progressive, and then went straight to San Francisco when I was old enough to get there. And then, you know, and then traveled around and lived in Oakland, and then now I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You know, I go to very liberal, and I go to very free, and I go to very high vibrating, or at least seeking to be aware, and all that. So I've never really put myself in those fear-based lower mentality kind of things, but they've just been coming at me left and right from people, and it's so shocking. These words are so shocking, and I keep hearing them, and I can't even believe people would use those words, you know, especially knowing this 8-year, you know, shape of things. But they're really weird, and I think it's happening because they're so leaving the world right now, and I think they're so leaving, so they're on the top of the surface, and they're even in my face now, even though I don't associate with anybody who uses the kind of words that I'm hearing. Like I'm just like, that's so weird, and I'm not even going to get into them, but they're just really weird ways to see the world, and around money, and so I think it's coming to the surface so much because they're so leaving, you know. So it's almost like through chaos we create the order. So it's in our face, and it's really gross. I'm like, please don't use those words. And I know you're all wondering right now, but I don't even want to utter them. But you'll know, because they make you sick when you say them. They also make you sick when you hear them. You know, so that's a big secret to it. If you're saying things that then you can feel how like nasty you feel, or like fearful, oh, you know, don't say them. Don't put that out there. You know, dude, it's easy to figure out. And with this knowing that things are rectifying themselves so quickly, right? Put out the love, put out the positive, put out the trust that it's going to work out, and not those negative, nasty words that also these words that people are using, they push you away. And so if you notice that too, where people are wanting to get away from you, or people don't want to keep talking to you, or they're having these uncomfortable ways around you, like that's a sign that those are words you're not supposed to be speaking anymore. You're supposed to let that go, because we physically feel these things. I mean, we're, like I told you, we're a land of psychics now. We're so intuitive, we're so perceptive. You know, I always say that too, like when I am working on my birth chart books, once somebody's ordered, I'm like hooked into them, and I'll just start feeling things about people. And you know, a lot of people are like that now, where we really tune into people's energy really easily. Like, we don't have to work at it. We don't have to sit there and get a candle going and chant and meditate. It's like, boom, we got it. We feel you. We feel what you're thinking. I always feel when emails are coming. I always feel like judgment. I always feel like these, you just feel it. We feel them now. So we also have to really be sensitive of that with ourselves and with others' energy, that we feel it. So basically, does it feel good in your body? Try to let it go. Try to bring it up to more love. And the more you do that, you will be more surrounded by people who also do that. Because I could hear people going, but all these people around me do that. And yes, that's true. We've all been through that. But eventually, the more you hold this certain vibration, situations magnetize to you to pull you away from those people. Even if you're living with somebody who does that, if you change your vibration, the universe starts to manipulate all these ways to then give you this other living situation, give you this other job to take, give you this other opportunity to move to another city and start over. So know that it's not over yet. Your story's not over yet. But don't get too worked up in a situation right now if it feels miserable, because you have the potential to bring in something beautiful really quickly. After you walk through the razor blades of what you just created, if you can walk through them with peace and love in your heart, you can start manifesting something really beautiful after that. So be aware of that. But back to the car scene. So I had the opportunity today. It was so cute. So it just happened, actually. I was on the road, went into town, and all of a sudden I saw that there were 3 cars behind this big bus, and we're supposed to be going like 55 and it was like 10. I'm like, what is going on? Is this bus broken down? Anyway, so I instantly went over, like didn't even wait, didn't even get up into line, instantly was like, oh, time to pass. But I also thought about this thing that I've been saying, 3 cars. You know, like, there's 3 cars and a bus. Okay, I didn't think bus too, but let's do it. So I pull out to pass, and I saw that nobody was coming, but I also know that there's a curve, and it's up a hill too. You know, I'm in New Mexico, and it's up a hill, and then there was a curve, and that's, you know, right before the curve is where the double don't pass lines were coming. And I mean, I made the decision in like 1 second, and I was like, let's do it. And I didn't even wait in that line. I instantly got over, started gunning it, and as I went on further, once I got to the bus, I saw that there was actually 4 cars in front of the bus, and then they were all behind this tractor, which tractor makes more sense that we were going 10 miles an hour. But and the thing is it was going up a hill, you know, so there was also that factor of having to gain speed. But so anyway, I started doing it, and then all of a sudden a car was coming at me, and it was like, it was just a split decision. Well, there was actually 0 of pulling back and getting back in line. I was just like, I'm gonna do it, and I just gunned it. I had to seriously, like, to the floor, to the pedal, to make this happen. So I ended up gunning it, and I actually ended up getting about 20 feet into the double lines before I was able to finally get over and not have this head-on collision. And we were close, you know, because they were coming at me at 60. But the best part about it was that the person coming right at me was a cop. So that was really funny, and I gave him a peace sign right before I got in my lane, kind of hoping that I would, like, keep him from now, you know, coming back and giving me a ticket, which he didn't do. I successfully accomplished that amazing feat. But it really made me think about this energy right now, because I can tell you that nothing told me not to do it. Nothing was fearful in me, even when I was like head on. But I'm a really good driver. I get that from my daddy, who's an amazing risky driver too. But I'm a really good driver. I've never had a speeding ticket. I don't have accidents. I love risky, crazy weather. I'm always the person to drive in any kind of monsoon or big storm. I'm like, I'll drive. So I'm really good like that. I have that. I was gauging things. I was like, okay, how much forward? Even though I had a second to think it, I was still like, okay, get that. I got to take care of that. That guy's going this much. He's going to be at me at this point. Da da da. Where's the line we got? And that was all a second's thought. And I totally sailed through, and it was so exhilarating. But that's what we're going to be doing. So know that when it comes your opportunity to pass your 3 cars or 7 cars in a bus and a tractor, who's ever done that? That was like a once in a lifetime thing. You don't get that opportunity again. But when your opportunity does come, let me tell you that you will know. You will know, put the pedal to the metal, let's do this. Because I can tell you from that, there was no fear. There was no hesitation. There was no, maybe I should go back. Maybe this wasn't the best decision. It was like, go forward. And I think it's also interesting that I had the detail of not seeing the other 4 cars in the tractor until I got up on the bus. And then I was like, oh, there's more to this. And I can tell you that actually, probably, had I known all those cars were there, I too would have stayed in line. I too would have bought into the fear and not taken that risk, because I was just thinking 3 cars in a bus, let's do it. Then to see I had double the same amount of cars to like pass, I would not have done that. So do understand that maybe what happens in your life is that you're gonna get a glimpse of some kind of risk-taking thing. And maybe there will be more obstacles that come up upon you when you actually get in there and start doing it. But just know that if you took the first leap knowing you should do this, then you're going to sail through and it's all going to be fine, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity that's going to teach you something and take you to a much higher level in life. So know that. But also respect that until your gate's open, don't push it. Like for me, it was like, and I have a lot of these things in my life right now. I have huge risk-taking changes that have fallen into my path, and they're so beautiful and they're so amazing, and I can't talk about them, but I can't talk about them yet. I will. But because there's still some things to work through, but I knew right away I'm doing this, and I can see that it's going to be the most amazing thing in my life, and it's going to really change things in a bountiful, beautiful way. But it's a big risk, and it's a lot of change, and it's going to take me out of my comfort zone, and that's what should be happening for all of us now. Because think about, those 3 cars you're going to pass, that's taking you out of your comfort zone, because comfort zone's just going to sit in there and not change and go along. But coming out of it is going to make you take a risk of passing all these cars when another car could show up, and then you have a situation. So just know it's going to happen. You will know when to do it, because your body will have 0 fear, and it'll be like, yes. You might have fear that comes into it. You might have fears that start to creep up into it. That is very likely, because that's something with risk taking. But if you did not have fear with the initial decision making, keep going. Don't pull back. And I actually don't want anybody to pull back. I don't want you to pull back unless a physical door slams in front of your face. That's the only reason I want you to pull back on what's happening right now. Because what's happening energetically right now is it's almost like a coded imprint, where what you're thinking about right now, what you're doing right now, everything that's happening right now in like this 72-hour window, maybe even a little bigger. It could definitely spread out, but there's a hot spot right now of what you're thinking, and what's showing up as inspiration or even opportunities to learn, what wounds are being provoked in you. It's all really important right now, and it's all really important in bringing you to this new massive and wonderful expression of life. So stay hopeful, stay positive with this. That's a key part of this, is staying positive. And it always is, but right now especially with this energy right here, it's like a green energy. And it's above all this other stuff, and it's almost like if you can hook up into that, it's the ultimate. And if you can hook up into that, it's almost like going to sail you through this other stuff that you have to do. There might be uncomfortable steps to what you're going to be doing, but if you can hook up to that green, which is positive, and I know this is going to work out for the best. And it's also something very far-sighted, so it's very like seeing into your future and knowing, even like, cleaning the house and taking care of all this nitty gritty da da da, but the end result is going to be wonderful. So if you can just hold this, I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to do what I need to do, because I'm just seeing this bright future and what I can do in the world and what I can do with my life and who I can manifest in my life. So it's just straight up powerful. Let me look at the chart because I haven't done that yet. Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. And this is another thing I always say when I look down at the chart. I'm like, I love looking at symbols. This is another one. Yeah, all that past, yeah, that aggression, I talked about that. And it's very much past life related, or past karma, even this life related. Wow, I love how like everything I say I see in the symbols. So I'm like, we already talked about that. Maybe next time I'll look at this first and then see what comes out. Although the same stuff does. And then that we have a beautiful yod even. Oh, and that's the Jupiter, so that's staying positive and being really respectful too. So that's going to be one with others. And yeah, your communications is coming in on this too. That's why we just have to really be aware of what we're putting out there, but also in partnership, also in relationship to others around us and how we treat people. And letting go of that judgment and letting go of all that judgment in your mind and all the mean things we say about people in our mind. We do. That's one of the biggest habits we have to let go of in order to manifest a life of beautiful, magical things. It's that negative mind. It's that, putting people down. It's that judging people when you probably really want what they have, or you do the same thing. It's the only reason we really judge. So this one's really powerful in letting that go and really kind of birthing a new way to be. Really kind of, that's where I said it's this new imprint that's happening to us right now. So we have glimmers of this new sort of life we can be living, but it's going to take us keeping it real. And really facing this stuff head on and not burying it, but also not projecting it onto everybody else, because anytime you're provoked by something, it always has something to do with you. That's the golden rule, right? And we might not want to admit it because we want to play superior and I'm the one who's the best, but truth be told, if you weren't provoked, you wouldn't have any part of that in you anymore. Because when you're not provoked, it's not a part of you. It's always a warning sign and a day glow. Pay attention to this sign when you get provoked by something. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. This is really powerful medicine right now. I'm going to work on the written horoscopes tomorrow. So those will be coming out. My store has also reopened. I have a whole new team now. There's 7 of us. And most of us are here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and most of us are best friends. And I'm so blessed to have the most amazing friends here in town who are just like my diehards, that we'll never leave each other. We're so tight. And what's so great is we're so tight with each other. We're not all separate friends. I mean, we all have our separate friendships with each other, but we're all a group. And even though we have other people in our lives, we're the group. We're the tight ones with each other. So we're all artists. So we're all coming together and they're working with me now. So I'm going to have all these amazing offerings. They're all going to be very unique and very valuable. We're also going to keep adding things every week so that there's a lot of fresh things coming. There's a lot of things in the works right now that are kind of time consuming and amazing creations that I'm like dying and I want to talk about, but I can't yet. I can't leak this because also these are so original and powerful. So so please check out our new site. And I'm also doing something because I love to give, it's my favorite thing, and I think it's, there's reasons I do, but why I love it, because I didn't really have that bountiful life growing up with having things to give, more needing to have things given to me. But so now I really like to be free with money like that. But anyway, so we're going to have every new moon and every full moon, we're going to be doing a giveaway with one of the items in our shop. So that's really huge, Twice a month there'll be giveaways. So The one we're having right now is from my dear friend. Her company is Spirit Tribe, and it is a travel altar kit. So it's an altar kit, and then it has a lot of stones and Palo Santo and sage and black tourmaline, and what else is in there? I think there's a crystal. I think there's, yeah, I can't remember all the things. But if you go to AquariusNation.com, I have a tab on the top now called Moon Giveaways. So that's where you'll always find our giveaways. And you can go and enter until the new moon at midnight. So on the 5th until midnight, we'll be taking new entries. And then also what we're going to do is on that full moon or new moon, the item that is the giveaway is also going to be 10% off that whole day. So it's a great way to have sales on particular items and kind of let you know what we have and then offer them as gifts too. So isn't that cool? I came up with all that. I'm in this really abundantly creative space, and I love that now I have all these artists with me, because I can just, I feel like Santa, and I'm like, okay, can you make me da 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 da, and I want this to be like da 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 da, and see, I have my son is in the second house, in the last minutes of the second house, so second and third, but I always have 10,000 million billion ideas going through me at all times. I'm always like, ideas, 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 ideas. We could do that. What do we do that? How do we do that? Like I'm always coming up with career money making ideas, so I like to put those in readings. You need to da 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 da. But so now I feel like Santa, because I have all these little elves who I can like go, can you make me this? Can you draw me that? Can you create this? Can you do that? It's so fun. So I get to just keep being creative because now they're going off and executing them. So all those little creations are going to be in our shop soon. So stay close and keep an eye out for all that. Okay, I'm going to stop. You have a beautiful full moon in Virgo. This one's in my moon sign. My birthday is in 7 days. My birthday is on the 11th. So, and the very first video I did, I don't know if you remember, it was on my birthday. So, yes, Virgo. That's why I can be such an authority on that critical, judgmental mind that we all have, because I know that one. Us Virgos know how dirty those minds can be. But they also can rise above that into a very graceful expression after they've sat in that dirty, nasty for a while, for a couple decades. Then they can really like purify those thoughts. So that's always a good thing that the Virgos go through. So we're all kind of going through that right now. Okay, you have a beautiful full moon. I'll see you.